Thank you to Huel for sponsoring this video. More on them in just a bit.
Citizens of the Reject Nation, we are watching a very important show, the kickoff
Important.
of DCU. It begins here.
It's the beginning.
I am so excited. This is the beginning of James Gunn's DC Studios. Actors that are in this show as characters will be in live action, will be in video games. It all starts right here, leading up to next year's Superman. We know very little about this. I think we both liked the 2 trailers.
Yep. Didn't watch them, but yep, they're good trailers.
I liked them. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this first episode. Please leave a like on this video. Hit that notification bell because there's going to be a lot more episodes. Going to be covering the entire season, and the way we cover that entire season is with the fine folks at Prepper. It is more on the R-rated side than YouTube likes, and Prepper makes it possible to put here on the YouTubes.
Good Indians.
Last thing we watched, a little bit of Penguin. About a month back, didn't shake it. Our respective wives and fiancés in love with the accent. Let us know if you head over to Patreon and watch it in its full entirety, like you're sitting next to us on the couch.
Sync up.
You can watch all of it. It's a good time. So we're going to be diving into this glory. Let us know what you think. This is a very interesting kickoff because it is like the Suicide Squad meets the Monster Squad. These are a very unique set of characters, and I'm curious how that brings the greater DCU to the forefront.
Wow, you know so much, Coy.
I do. Amanda Waller's
You know
gonna be
so
here.
much, so
Together.
much information. You know
That's what I'm
so
gonna do.
much.
You
You're
know I
so
love comics.
smart.
JMD Mateus's Creature Commandos run, pretty excellent.
So smart.
Current David Desmalchin run, pretty excellent. Read some comics. All right, we're gonna watch it in 3, 2, 1. Love the new logo.
Cool.
Classic
I haven't
Superman.
seen that.
Oh, yeah? They had it in front of the Christopher Reeve biopic, or documentary.
The battalion calling themselves the Sons of Themyscira,
What?
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Amazonian and reputed sorceress Circe.
Diving right
Circe
in.
claims to be the rightful heir to the throne of the perhaps mythical, perhaps real, all-female island nation of Themyscira.
We're rebooting Wonder
Open in
Woman.
Themyscira.
Themyscira is like the sickest place ever. And then you tell me, oh, dude, only women can live there? That is so sexist, bro.
Stupid. Critical skeptic.
Feelings 91. I think I know that guy.
Like Joker.
I think you'd understand that true friendship is built on petroleum deposits.
She's always so good with the dialogue.
Princess Ilana Rostovic, the heir apparent to Pokolistan, is already negotiating with the U.S. for that oil. And if she's overthrown by some nut job in a witch's hat, all bets are off.
Immediate political balance.
I thought Congress put a stop to all Task Force X activities since your daughter outed you.
This ain't the same thing.
Argus can't use incarcerated human beings as mission
So that's why they're not human beings.
But what about beings that aren't human?
Aha. Now we have established how this is not the Suicide Squad.
Immediately, this is how and why.
They'll weave non-human internment divisions. Only those at the uppermost levels of security clearance are aware of its existence.
Weasel's back.
Weasel.
These assholes aren't human.
She's not human?
Is a corpse human?
Young love.
Who is she?
We don't know. We call her the Bride.
Who's Jason and the Argonauts?
Dr. Phosphorus. He has irradiated skin he can use to burn through people and objects.
Well, how does that radiation affect the people around him?
If you don't sleep in the same room with him, the effects should be minimal.
Minimal?
Consider it a free vasectomy.
Oh, jeez. Weasel.
What is that thing?
I love that he's a carryover.
It's one of the few soldiers still alive from Project Starfish in Corto Maltese.
Cannon. Ooh, his son.
I didn't mean to intimate anything about your son, Flag. When he died in Corto Maltese, he died a hero.
Cannon.
That dishwasher killed over 300 Nazis in World War II. I would have dismantled it, but I thought it might come in use someday. It's known as G.I. Robot. Last one is Nina Mazursky.
What use is she walking around in a fishbowl?
Get her in water, it's a different story. She's the smartest and most reasonable of the bunch.
Even just him suddenly wearing yellow like his kid was in Suicide Squad smart.
This can't be the first time you guys try to do that.
Let's call it Task Force M. M for Monster, also known as...
That's fun.
Oh, classic.
Like, this is so 70s.
Yeah, there's a vintage flair to it. It's carrying over.
This cast is so great, too.
It's like a Spanish jazz tune. Oh, David Harbour?
Yeah, he's Frankenstein, which means he's live action and video game Frankenstein.
James Gunn.
They just put him. Oh, that's great. Just make the meta visual.
Right away.
There's an osprey waiting to take you directly to the castle to protect Princess Rostovic from Circe and her forces.
It's very Animal Man of them. I like that.
Could he be, G.I. Robot asks, in fear of being discovered as Nazi scum?
Sees everything as a Nazi.
Are we in goddamn Pokolistan?
You've been here before?
I came back to my hometown incognito to forget about it all.
Could always rely on James Gunn for them soundtracks.
I was just thinking this is exactly what a James Gunn cartoon would have to feel like. It's the needle drops, the pizzazz.
Hero.
Monster.
The monsters are so misunderstood.
And we laugh.
Imagine Frankenstein and her are like, there's a contentious love
I
relationship.
imagine there's some history.
Yeah, they ugly.
Looks like the gene pool was above ground and inflatable.
I wonder what this princess is gonna look like.
Oh.
She escaped the inbreeding.
Is there a punchline coming?
Gotta be.
Eyes messed up. Nope, she looks
Nope,
normal.
nope, pretty.
Princess Rostovic, it's an honor.
This is not the kind of bow we do in Pokolistan, Mr. Richard Flagg. We're going to have to kill you. What? We must only do sacred customary bow in this castle. Murder this man.
Let's see their powers.
I am making joke. We pull pranks like Jamie Kennedy experiment.
Outdated reference.
Oh,
This is so
2000s
outdated.
TV. They're-
You're certainly current with your popular cultural references.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sarcastic smile.
Sarcastic.
Tudyk.
We've prepared a banquet for you, our honored guests.
Jamie Kennedy's experiment is canon in DC.
Now we know.
I love seeing friends enjoying themselves. That is the queen. Yes, mother, of course. She says she's pleased you're here.
What exactly is her mission?
I don't know.
You're welcome, mother. I love you too.
She can. Oh, she's gonna be the one to unpack what's really going on here.
Some diesel fuel, please, for our robot friend.
Yes, madam. Right away, madam.
Hope Sean Gunn crawls around even when it's not mocap, just to be in it.
It's been oh so long since G.I. Robot has sent Nazis back to hell. Would you like to kill Nazis with G.I. Robot?
If I killed Nazis with anyone, it would certainly be you.
Those odd couple romances. Very good at those.
I'm happy to have the company.
Even that one?
Weasel.
Why was he in prison?
Supposedly murdered 27 children. He hasn't shown any violent tendencies since then, so I wouldn't fret.
Cody Player just playing.
I'm happy for the company, especially the company of Americans.
Is that Palm Clementiev?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It might be.
It is my most cherished dream to lead my people into the 21st century. Are you married?
My wife ended up being my least favorite aspect of that 21st century you're all gung-ho about.
I will avoid that part of the 21st century then.
She and I had a son when we were just 18. Fine young man.
Aw.
I joined the military mostly just to make money so I could support him.
Oh, he must be grieving this whole time.
18 years later, he joined the military because he loved our country and he wanted to make it a better place. Yeah, boy, was it an improvement on me in every way.
Oof.
I'm sure your son was a fine man, but I'm much more fond of older men.
I don't trust this woman at
Nope,
all.
she is being too forward. I don't trust it.
Yeah. I have never once trusted a woman who comes on to me, Corey.
Nope, you
Not
can't.
once.
It's not
once.
safe.
What is it you wanted to show me, Ilana?
This wonderful armor.
That's not an armoire.
I like the DCU.
The opening.
I'm here to protect you.
To protect me from loneliness. From Pokolistani men who have never seen the world and who can't see me as the human being I am behind the veil of royalty.
Closer, but still no. Look, I think we need to get some shut-eye so we can put a cogent plan in place in the morning.
What are you doing, Rick Flag Sr.?
I'll leave G.I. Robot to go at the door.
Wow. Bad call, dude. Would it have been bad if he did something?
I mean, I assume he doesn't trust
Is that a save the cat moment?
Yeah.
Because honestly, it makes me dislike
Rick
the character.
Flag, what are you doing?
I'm supposed to live through this cartoon
Now
character.
we have judgments on you.
In September of 1944, I fought at the Battle of Erkin Forest, a whopping 92 dead Nazis.
Just do the joke enough eventually.
It's like
gonna be
the
fun.
repetition really hits after enough.
Oh, is that what she's sleeping in?
Oh, yeah.
The bride?
Right?
Oh. Music cue is cool.
How'd you get down here?
I walked down the stairs.
Znajdete li kada shtaruta imenia na Frankenstein.
Oh, she speaks the language.
She'd been there before.
Just go to the address I told you.
We're about to see them reunite.
Wow, Red Flag's not being alerted about this?
Jesus.
Frank Grillo request. I was wondering how we were going to see his might, like how the squaring off would go.
They've been here to protect, and now they're only causing destruction amongst each other.
Monster Squad, Task Force M is going to be the liability.
Too strong.
Too much. Woo! The action is really well animated. Like the impact of the actual fight. You feel it.
It's got that classic DC animation to it.
And the detail work with the injuries. It builds.
But every time someone's hit or the
and
camera
his
moves a
scar
little bit.
and yeah.
I wonder if they got the animators who've done some of the movies.
It's really solid.
You think Waller would give me the only remote? I'm not here to torture you. We're supposed to be on the same damn team.
His smile never changes, but his eyes do.
I like the percolating you can hear.
Cackling.
Like the energy around him, yeah.
This could have been a good October show.
What is this place?
Where I was born.
Across the hall. That's Frankenstein.
Who dat? No.
That's definitely Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein. She's got a razor. Was that Zac Efron?
It's
What
live-
was it, a
live
live
action.
photo of Zac Efron? Favorite joke so far. What?
And it was like young Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Pre-injury.
Yeah.
За мен старице.
Oh, that David Harbour Russian.
Аз наблюдавах тази, която вие ме помолихте да следя. Мисля, че тя е сега тук.
My bride.
That outfit.
I found you.
He's just been partying, trying to escape the pain.
You know, you got to cope. That was so fun and weird and adventurous and energetic. That was a lot of show.
That was a lot of show.
Like, the energy was bananas.
Thank you to Huel for sponsoring today's video. Now, guys, I'm going to give you all the God's honest truth of how this sponsorship came to be. We got contacted about basically partnering up with Huel. Before we agreed to anything, the very first thing I said was I would like to try the product first. I did a Instagram post on our Real Rejects one. It was the first time you see me trying the Huel product. Basically going like, hey, we might not partner with them. This is not a paid Instagram post, but I just wanted to try it since a lot of you guys asked for like health recommendations now and to know kind of what I take only because of the fact that I'm vegetarian and I have very limited protein options. So I gave it a shot. Ended up loving it. Primarily the chocolate one. Wow, this is a really great one. One of the best things about it is that, yes, it's prepackaged. And a lot of times when it comes to like the prepackaged bottles, I'm not a big fan of them normally. What you got me drinking on camera is one of these, which takes a very long time to put together and can often get messy. And it's just not aesthetically pleasing. But I'm trying to pack like a lot of vitamins and fiber, protein. The best part about Huel is a lot of what I try to pack into this one giant shake is already available in this little bottle. Often tastes better than what I can actually assemble myself. It actually tastes great. It's got a high protein intake count as well. And you know what? Brand new bottle. If you guys can see, it's filled to the top. This is how good it tastes. Now, normally what you want to do is spread it out, but if you want it in one go, It is just as good. It tastes really freaking good. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. The one thing they want me to say is you can get 15% off Huel today with code REJECTS at Huel.com/rejects. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. They are great, and I am already almost out of the many bottles they sent me. If you guys do go check them out at Huel.com/rejects, you'll see that they got a whole bunch more items available as well. And if they taste anything as good as this, I'm going to be a very happy customer for a very, very long time. So join me on this health journey.
Eastern European ska is a genre I didn't know I loved until today. That was a bop. We just watched episode 1. What did you think, Gregg?
It was fun. I liked it.
Okay.
You could probably hear there's something in my voice that's alluding
there's a
this.
butt.
There's a butt.
There's an
coming.
ellipses. I hear it.
This probably falls on the expectation level. I didn't watch any trailers, so I had no expectation. I want to go in blind. This is weird to say because the Suicide Squad is most likely my favorite DC movie from the once, like, you know, Man of Steel started.
Sure.
It's probably my favorite
Post-Nolan era.
Yeah, and I love James Gunn's work in general, and Peacemaker I thought was phenomenal. I just kind of felt like for like, oh, the start of the universe, this is your kickoff show. Just kind of felt like, yeah, it's a James Gunn show. It's like the weirdest thing to say. It's like it's a well done James Gunn show.
Yeah, you're like, I like James Gunn shows. It's a James Gunn show.
But it weirdly didn't feel all that original, I guess. It's like original in the sense of, it's just one episode, right?
Right.
So it's like original in the sense of, yes, we have like new characters that we haven't seen done before. But once you know that James Gunn is the one behind it, it plays in a way of like, yeah, this is about how I expected James. Like Guardians 3 feels less James Gunn than this feels like more, you know.
This feels like James Gunn with full freedom to do the weirdness that he wanted, which is why the opening having him writing and while he writes was funny. To
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It feels like that level of like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be choose your own adventure.
I'm very much like, this is the first episode. I'm not really like married to the opinion of this. I'm sure it's
Just
going
your
to
take.
change, especially when it comes to James Gunn's work, because I absolutely love his work and I have a lot of faith in what he's going to do. But I mean, overall, I do think that the animation was really good. The action was really good. I like some of the new characters quite a bit. The Phosphorus guy I'm really drawn to. He seems like he's got that sardonic type of humor that I really enjoy. I wonder if this GI robot joke will be the one joke throughout the entire season, and maybe it'll still be funny.
It got funnier.
It got funnier, yeah.
I
I was a little unclear on the mission.
Yeah, I think, well, that's what's tricky when we're like reacting. We might have talked over one line. Like that game, like literally didn't know what the mission was. And then I think we might have been, you know, reacting, talking.
I
so
don't like
might
protect these people. Go to the royalty and protect them.
I am a little bit on the other side because I had high expectations for the DCU in general. As you know, I'm a big James Gunn fan, and I love how weird DC Comics can be in a way that I feel like is an advantage of not having a singular streamlined universe. My interpretation is they did a really weird kickoff so they would show like it's not going to be your standard issue, and Superman gets to be the clean cut summer kickoff. This gets to be the, hey, we're going to throw in some curveballs. So I kind of like that it opened with a curveball because this isn't what you'd expect a universe to kick off with. I didn't expect animated nudity and, you know, violence that felt as, you know, intense, and I didn't expect lots of needle drops of music I've never heard before in such a fun, energetic, jaunty way. So this isn't an Iron Man, whereas I feel like Superman can be that, and this gets to be the weird thing before their Iron Man.
Sure.
So I like that the universe gets to start in an odd way that feels more like a Vertigo comic. Vertigo Comics is an imprint at DC that is the more odd left of center things. So like some Swamp Thing is Vertigo. V for Vendetta is Vertigo Comics. So they're a little bit left of center. It's not your mainstream. This, to me, it's not Vertigo. Vertigo is never responsible for Creature Commandos, but the idea of having things that are offside so the main universe can also exist, and you know that just to the left is something weird, is fun to me, because the Mascara already being introduced as something that's canon in the DCU, but it doesn't seem like we're going to necessarily make it a fixture.
I mean, they're going to have to clean up some stuff, because this is like, oh, it's canon to the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Which has characters from Suicide Squad.
Which was canon to the DCEU.
Yeah. Which
So-
I think Peacemaker's going to do.
So yeah, they have to find a way to like clear up some of that canonically, because I think like when you're acknowledging that it's canon to the Suicide Squad, but you're hearing Son of Themyscira, I think a lot of people's brains will still go to Gal Gadot's, and not realize that it's not the same Wonder Woman
Peacemaker
anymore.
Season 2 is going to be responsible for that, because I think there's going to be an element of like multiversal-ness that'll clean it up. but I'm not sure.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's my theory. I have no reason to think that except for the character makes sense because it's that Deadpool kind of, it feels like that would be the place I would do it.
Yeah. Well, I think like this is a very classic James Gunn story. Like him tackling Superman's is more different than this for James Gunn, because this is like classic Misfits, and I think to take the monsters, which especially to have like a universal monster, and a big part of the Frankenstein's monster is the fact that they're actually a creature who's very much misunderstood. just from the way they look, they are ostracized, and people want them to be burned at the stake only because of just how they come across, when really they just want love and connection. And there's usually a misunderstood element about the monsters. And so I think the idea of like a band of misfits who might appear villainous or bad on the outside, but are really people with hearts, is very much in tune with James Gunn's work. And so that's just kind of what I mean, is like it just felt like the Suicide Squad, but animated.
I mean, Task Force M versus Task Force X.
Yeah, and I think they're aware of that.
Yeah, I think they're leaned in, not out of it.
Yeah, they're aware of it.
It opened with Amanda Waller being like, this is a similar speech you've heard. Like, that was very...
I guess I was just waiting for something to really separate itself from the Suicide Squad.
Sure.
Other than the fact that they're monsters.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's just like other characters, and this is basically the Suicide Squad.
I didn't think and I hate that this is how I see things. I didn't think I'd connect as much because I generally like live action more than animation.
Sure.
I have nothing against the medium of animation, and it's a medium, not a genre. I just personally tend to connect more with actors I can see into their eyes. I also like connect to their other work. When I see an actor's face, I think of their entire, filmography. I connect to that. So I was actually a little surprised by how much I connected to these characters since it was voice work.
Sure.
So for me, it was a little better than I expected because I don't necessarily, and I'm not going to do the DC versus Marvel because they're both comics and they should all reign supreme. I like comics being... But the most recent thing to compare it to is What If.
Yeah.
I connected more to these characters than I do with What If, and we've had 15 years of them.
Sure,
So that surprised me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on that metric, sure.
Just by animated adaptation of characters I know and love, I was impressed. Before we get out of here into episode 2, I do want to shout out J.M. DeMatteis, who got a little bit of love in the credits. The run that he did on this character set in the 70s is formative and fantastic. So if you want to check out some Creature Commandos comics, check out J.M. DeMatteis's. But more recently, David Desmalchin, friend of the show, friend of the me, friend of the comics, did a run that's only on issue 2 or 3 right now, I believe. He's got a great comic called Count Crowley. Now he's writing at DC. He's an actor he played Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. He's in Ant-Man. He's in Dark Knight. He's a fantastic actor, but he's a devout comic head, and he's writing Creature Commandos for DC right now, and it makes me happy he went from like working with James Gunn as Polka Dot Man to like writing a comic of the inaugural run of the show. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it makes me happy. So check out those comics, read some comics. Let's watch episode 2.